All right. Hey, everybody. So tonight we are going to be sharing some conference takeaways. And so we're going to take just a few minutes here. I'll start and then I'll pass it to Elena. Then who else was there? Lynn and Brenda. So we're just going to share for just a few minutes. And y'all are going to have to wait just a minute because my dog lost his ball and he's going to bark until I get it. So hold on. Okay, we don't need him to bark. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to start. Conference was amazing. So we were in Phoenix from Wednesday to Saturday. And if you've never been to conference, pretty much all day Thursday, you have learning labs where you get to learn about the product, the business, how to share both of those product and business events. And they talked about technology. So that was all day Thursday. We had a break for a fun lunch. And then a lot of us went out to dinner, had fun Thursday. There was a fun 70s disco party, which is what we were talking about earlier because Brenda and Elena dressed up and looked amazing. So we're just going to go through a little bit of what we learned. Friday were all day trainings, and then Saturday morning were trainings from the main stage. And I would say there were probably, I'm not a good estimator, but 4,000-ish people, which was great. So it was really hot and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to just start. I'll share for a few minutes and then I'll pass it off. Just a couple takeaways. My favorite quote that was shared was, "You'll never change until you change something you do daily." And that can be applied both with our business and with the people we're helping in their health. So as far as business, if you want this business to pay you like a business, then you treat it like a business. If you want it to pay you like a hobby, which doesn't pay, then you treat it like a hobby. So whatever your goal is with the business, if you want it to change, then we need to talk through what you can change to do every day. It doesn't have to be a big change or a lot of change. 10, 15 minutes a day can be a great impact and change. So I would encourage you to think through that. If you're wanting something different, then let's talk to you, meet with your upline, whoever yours is, and we can talk about that. And then with the people we're helping with their health. I think a lot of people want change and they'll talk about it all day, but until you set a different habit, you're not going to see change. My favorite, most impactful, I thought this was really practical for the business. Immobilia, she spoke about a 3-step system to supercharge your business. And it was based around the number 3. So if you do this every day, then you will see a great impact and change in your business. It starts with what we've talked about before, having a working memory jogger, whether that's 10 people, 20 people, or 100 people. I actually made my new 100 list on the airplane. So I have that because that's the foundation of working. Reach out to 3 people every day. Post something on social media 3 times a week and invite to 3 events a month. You can always modify that. So even if you just did 1, but a great impact would be 3. And when you go to an event, make it a goal that you have 3 new people there for every existing Juice Plus person. So if you've invited people and you have 1 customer there, try to have 3 new people and then try to get 3 new orders per event. So that was just really simple. Doesn't take a whole lot of time, but very impactful. So I liked hearing that. And then I was going to share one more thing. I loved, so Sean Hopkins, who works at corporate, he shared this. He said, "It doesn't matter how much you know, but how much you care." So I think a lot of times we can get hung up on the details or the business or health or not feeling like we know enough. But I just remember when I first started the business, all I knew was it was fruits and vegetables and capsules and gummies, and I wanted to help people, and our family needed some income. So I just started sharing and caring and helping one person at a time. So I think just keeping that really simple, and I think that was maybe somebody else can share on Phil Jones, the last speaker we had. He was amazing, amazing. So I'll let everyone else share, and then if I need to add to that, he was one of the final speakers on Saturday, and just really, really great on, sharing, caring. We do sell, that is what we do, but there's a professional way to do it. And I think we get hung up on the way that's not professional. And so overcoming those things. So I'm going to pass it off, and then I can always fill in at the end if needed, or if y'all have questions. All right, Elena, you want to go?
Sure. All right. I was trying to find my book. I was reading it this morning. Miss Sandy Leonard, who's at the top of our team, she gave everyone that was at conference, there it is, thank you, Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones. I started reading it last night, and I was reading it this morning as well, and it's so good for all aspects of life and conversations. So if you're looking for a good book, you should get it. But he basically talks about how to what are phrases that we can say when in conversation with people. That one thing he said that I thought was interesting, I'm trying to see if I did write it down. As a child, one of the things that always intrigues us in a story is once upon a time, right? Like we say once upon a time, and the child is so engaged, right? Well, with adults, once upon a time does not work. And so he said the one thing that does work is just imagine. So if we start a sentence with just imagine what you could do with 500 extra dollars per month in your bank account. What would you use it for? Just imagine you walking across the stage giving your NND speech, or just imagine you help 5 people that are really struggling with their health. Whatever it may be, he just said that that's a great tagline. And there's so many things that he put. He also said, just imagine that you don't address your health concerns. That's a big one, because a lot of people choose not to address their health concerns. Just imagine that you don't. What would life look like 10 years from now? And it just hits a heartstring that a lot of people don't realize or choose to ignore. Just imagine what your kids will think of when you have a legacy that you've built for them. I thought that was another powerful one, because we're working hard, and we're putting a lot of effort into this business. And what legacy are you going to leave for whoever? What legacy are you going to leave behind? He also talked about, do we know enough about the people that we are sharing with? So a lot of times we word vomit, and I'm guilty of that because I like to talk and I just think, oh, you got to know this and this and this. But leaving them with curiosity is actually more impactful than actually word vomiting and sharing everything up front, because then they're not even curious and they're like, not for me. So if you can just give them whoever you're sharing with, find out about their lives, and listen for, do they have some type of health issue going on, and do you have a solution to offer them? He also said, who are the people that you need to be asking more questions from? Like who in your life do you not know a lot about right now that you could be asking, how is their health going? He said there's 3 things that he focuses on. Number 1 is curiosity. Number 2 is empathy. You're showing empathy for whoever you're speaking with and whatever their health journey may be. And number 3 is courage. He said a lot of people, he said fear is the fertilizer of growth. Nobody knows what they're doing, which I thought was funny because nobody really knows what they're doing. We're all just acting like we're confident. And then we're confident because we're acting like we're confident. And so when we live in fear of doing it the right way, then we never even take the step forward. And so I loved the synonym that he, or is it an acronym that he put for fear? It's false evidence appearing real. And, he said there's obviously things like if we were all fearless, we would just, go jump off a building, which is not wise. But if we can actually, sorry, I had one quote and I was just trying to find it. If we can actually move forward, I might actually be mixing in with the other motivational speaker that we had, Judy Holler is her name. She does spoken word. It's kind of interesting if you like spoken word. But she did great. She said, I loved this, and it kind of ties in with what he was talking about with fear. She said, you cannot avoid pain, but you can increase your tolerance for it. And so, if I'm afraid, if we're fearful, then we're doing it right. Because anytime we have a little bit of fear, it spurs us on. I did an event this past month and I was leading it and I was really nervous because it was a really big event and I had a lot of fear because I was like, are we going to have enough to cover the cost to break even? But I just went with it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be confident in this and I'm going to pray about it and we're going to move forward. And we were fine. It was a great event. And so if we never allow ourselves to step forward in that fear, then we're always going to be held back and never do anything. Go where we have no confidence on purpose is what Judy Holler said. And I loved that because it's hard to go somewhere where you don't have confidence, but when you go, you're actually developing your self-confidence and you're becoming a stronger leader. There were so many great things, but basically those were a few things from the motivational speakers that I really liked. Whitney and I did get to sit in on the medical conference or the medical group that was just for medical professionals. They let us sit in. We signed an AMA. I think it was an AM, not an AMA, disclosure. Yes, non-disclosure. I think yes. Okay. So, but one of the things that I thought is applicable to all of us as we're sharing with health professionals, there's a lot of health professionals, like you might have one in your mind that you're thinking, oh my goodness, if he could just share Juice Plus with his patients or with her patients, they could be healing from this, or they could really benefit, their blood work could really benefit from this. A lot of doctors, a lot of medical professionals are nervous to share because of the code of ethics, and they're thinking, is this ethically okay for me to be sharing? And one of I think it was a pediatrician in the group, she shared that she looked it up because she had such ethical conflict within herself. Like, do I share? Do I not share? There is the AMA code of ethics. It's opinion number 9.6.4. And essentially it states that you don't recommend anything that doesn't have scientific backing, which Juice Plus has a ton of scientific backing. Number two, you give them another option of where they can buy it. So this pediatrician shared, if her patients ask like, well, where can I buy it? When she recommends Juice Plus, she says, well, you can buy it from me and I would take care of you as a customer and I do benefit because I'm selling it, but you can also go to juiceplus.us.com. I think it's juiceplus.us. And you can order from the website and you will be assigned someone to take care of you. So she gives them both options. And then you also have to provide a risk benefit and post it on the wall. So the risks and the benefits of Juice Plus, and you just post it on the wall, which I don't think there are any risks, but
that's great.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off because I
that's
know we
good.
have a hard stop at 8:30. So,
That's
Miss
good.
Brenda, would you like to go? Thank you, Elena.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you said, but I guess you said me. Consistency was one of the things that came up time and again, and we know that that's the case. It's hard because life happens, but one of the quotes that I liked is says consistency runs laps around talent. And so kind of back to what you were saying, that we don't have to know so much. You can just know, you say what you know and just say it consistently, and it'll land in the right spots. And like Whitney, I loved what Amobila said. I thought she just hit a home run. The three steps, the three things. And she said too, you know, for every Juice Plus person that comes to an event, have three that are non-Juice Plus people. Because I know you've all been to events where you're like, oh, everybody's on Juice Plus just about. And that when you have an event, to aim for 3 orders per event. So just everything you kind of put to that 3, to the power of 3, so to speak. And so I thought that was helpful too. Simple 3 works. Brenda?
Well, it seemed like one of the themes was developing confidence and not being afraid. And Judy Holler, who it was really entertaining and stuff. And she said the goal was not to be fearless. The goal was to fear less, and to fear less today than you did yesterday, and fear less tomorrow than you did today. So I think that to me makes a lot more sense, because we're all fearful in different situations and for different reasons. And then the one of the things that that Jim, what was the guy's name? Phil Jones had said was, he used an example. He said, if I ask you what you think of if I say salesman, what are the adjectives that you think of? And people were saying nasty things, because my husband was a salesman for a long time, but it was like dishonest and pushy and, smarmy, and then one even called out liar. And so it's like, oh my goodness, this is not good. And then he said, what would you think if I said, what do you think of a professional salesperson? And so they're like knowledgeable, helpful, valuable, contributing to help you make a good decision, sort of thing. And it's like just that one word can change the thought. And he said, we need to be more pulley and less pushy. And so I thought that was a good analogy, just to say we want to bring people in with what we have, because we have something that's so special, and not let fear get in the way. I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want this. And think of what you do want. Whose life do you want to change today? So I just thought it was a really, really good conference all the way around. And several people at the dinner Friday night were saying that it was the best conference they had attended in a long time. The other thing I'd like to point out is that Travis's first words when he got up to speak were, I'm sorry, because of all the digital mess. You can't move that kind of data and do all that stuff and not have some glitches. It's just not possible. So, but they're working 24/7, they said, to get it straightened out. And hopefully this would be the last bad week.
Yeah. I thought it was really good the way I felt like, so Travis is the new CEO of the company, for those of you guys who weren't there. And I felt like he was very humble when he first came out, but very confident that he's going to find the solutions. And 30 years and migrating all this information is no quick and easy task. So we're going to get through it together. Was there anything else? Those of y'all that went, Lynn, Brenda, anything else you want to share?
I think in an overall, not a specific topic, but in an overall, almost to a man or woman, the people who stood up said, this is what we have been doing, this is what we are doing, this is what we're going to do. And they were excited and they were innovative. They were all excited. And it was just not hype, but energy in a real positive way.
Well, and the new marketing materials, I'm sure they're going to be coming out very soon. And so you're always kind of like, okay, well, I like the old one. I mean, they changed the font from a script to just a small, all lowercase letters kind of thing, printing. But the new marketing materials really look great, and they're going for cohesiveness in all the platforms, whether it's Facebook or whether it's print or whatever it is. They're going for all the cohesiveness, and they used a couple of different competitors as examples. You see this, you see red Coca-Cola, the font and all that stuff is Coca-Cola. You see, Balance of Nature, and they've got the colors and everything's all in those colors. So they're really kind of making it more cohesive and look like we all belong on the same page. And it's not 14 different departments putting together the stuff.
Yes.
So that was exciting.
Yep. It's really pretty. It's like a ombre,
Yeah.
like rainbow watercolor color instead of red, green, red, green, purple, and orange.
It's pretty the way that they're blending the colors together, and the new logo, y'all will start seeing it more.
Yeah.
Is a J with a plus. So it looks
and
really
then-
streamlined.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you can see that or if it's backwards, but
No, we can see it.
Yeah,
You
it's at the bottom right there.
yeah, so there's the new logo, but their little tagline is for today and all your tomorrows.
Yeah, and they said that they would still have Juice Plus written out,
Right.
so they actually called that a monogram.
Yeah.
A new monogram is what they said. So
Yeah.
It's a little bit less confusing because a lot of people felt like the JP and the plus was like Juice Plus Plus.
Yeah.
Instead, now it's just J for juice and then the plus for plus.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
those are my kids in the background. They got their new swag. So showing it.
I love it.
I was gonna if you guys haven't already seen the announcement in Voxer or on social media in our groups, go ahead and mark your calendar for tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern. Our greater team is going to be doing a Phoenix conference wrap up, and that call will be an hour. And I know Sandy and Sharon specifically are leading that, and several of us have specific things that they've asked us to share. So definitely I'll go ahead. I'll give y'all the number for those of you guys who have a pen and want to write it down. So tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern, the Zoom is 247-556-7624, and the password is health. So that will also be another great place to get more. Did you get that, Marcia? You're on mute, Miss Marcia.
Repeat the number, please. My brain didn't go that fast. Okay.
Yes. Okay, it's 247-556-7624.
And health. Thank you.
Yes.
And what was the name of that book that Lynn held up? Exactly What to Say. Is that Phil Jones?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
That you'll love that. That'll be great. Announcements for this week. I'm gonna host a Juice Plus Solutions call tomorrow evening. If any of you guys want that, just send me a box or a message. I'm trying to do that as often as I can on Tuesday evenings, just to give people a space and a place when they're in conversations to invite. So it's a standard overview, and I'll share a story. And if there's partners on there, I'll ask you to share your story. So that's tomorrow. Severin, do you guys have any announcements for this week?
No, I think the big thing is the call tomorrow at 12:30. And if you have to work and you can't be on there, that's the conference wrap up. Then we'll have a recording for you. I think it's just critical that we all listen to that. And I think our next call is going to be on September 30th. So that's our next team call. And we are going to kind of have a how would you explain it, Whitney? Just a Q&A session to talk
Yes.
about digital transformation and what your questions are, what's working, what's not. We didn't have enough answers for you tonight, and we wanted to talk about the conference. So in 2 weeks, we hopefully will have more answers for you. And in the meantime, Whitney put it really well. We're just really trying to pray for our corporate team to get this completed, for things to go well, and for us to just show up with a good attitude. You know, there's going to be some challenges with the amount of data that needs to come over. Anything to add before we close, Whitney?
No, I was just gonna say, and on that call on the 30th, we could even share screen and go through and just show you guys the different places. So, anyways, my house is getting kind of crazy, so we'll wrap it up, but it'll be good. So, hey, listen.
Thank you,
if I can do
everyone, for
this
jumping
business with-
on.
If I can do this business with 4 kids and all these animals, anybody can do it. So y'all just go and share and have fun.
Have a
Thanks,
great night,
Charlotte.
everyone.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank